What's up, YouTube, man? I'm back with another video. And this video just gonna be about like paying attention to other people. Cause I noticed like a couple years ago I started watching vlogs heavy, like heavy. And I noticed like it was like I still do it. Like I just got done watching a couple different channels, right? One of the channels was a pastor, so that was like that's really what I want to talk to y'all about anyway, like finding your identity in Christ. Um, and then I want to also talk about like just my distance from God, how I've been kind of distant from God for a while, like, and how I feel like that kind of, you know, affected me because I feel like in many ways that allowed what I would call like a space. It allowed space, a gap in my life for people to kind of like, when you like close to God, it's almost like your life is gonna work for you. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna work for itself. I was watching a pastor and he said like we're all pastors. And that spoke to me because I'm like, bro, I've been feeling like a pastor lately. My grandfather told me I should be a pastor. And so maybe he had a dream or something he just ain't telling me about. He's seen that because I do feel like I like to do like this type of lane of stuff. And so, but just to go back to the point, I never questioned how evil vlogs were, right? Because I fell in love with YouTube a couple of years ago, just watching pranks and stuff like that. And so once I fell out of love with TV, which is bound to happen for a lot of us, we stopped watching TV. It was not as cool, especially for us young men. I feel like, we subtly went into this phase of like hanging out with other people. Like I remember when I was young, like I used to be one man, one army, like by myself, and then I have friends, but it'd be like the uniqueness was at a all-time high because I was living in my own life every day, and then I'll go see my friend, and then it'll be like super unique. Like it'll be just different. And I'm talking young ages, right? But as I grew and I hit like sixth grade, I started hanging with a camp of people like on my neighborhood, just like, and I noticed people go into them clusters like that. And so to make a long story short, around those times, you stop watching TV. You start being outside, playing basketball. You might play sports. You go to school, You mess with the girls, And so here and there, you probably have people who still, especially women, still be watching TV or still be a little invested in it. And I feel like as far as for my life, uh, I kind of just went. Certain things in my life has played as a devil's advocate. It has played as like a not a it's not played as a helper but an antithesis for the devil, like. And they say TV is like tell lies to your vision. That's why they call it television. Tell lies to your vision. That's how a lot of people describe television. And so I kind of threw television away. I stopped watching it. I've just been, and still to this day, like I might watch an old movie or what. But to make a long story short, like I told you, I fell in love with vlogs. I fell in love with vlogs. It's a whole gang of vloggers that I watch still to this day, and I know everybody's name. But deep down, I'm kind of disconnected from that light. I mean, my channel isn't taken off yet. When I first started watching certain prankers and stuff, I was like, yo, I didn't even feel like I could do it. I didn't, because I started watching it around like I feel like a era, a crossover between when YouTube was really special and hard for people to do, like not hard for people to do, but it was like it was foreign to us. Like, oh damn. Like it was the difference between like you wouldn't be a star. Like you couldn't make yourself a star. Remember growing up, we couldn't make ourselves a star. Like Lil Durk and them, they were doing it, but it was like they still had to get on the radio, they still had to get on demand, they still had to get on these things. And we still were kind of like in the blind spot of it all because I remember I was like a fan. I was just so YouTube gave a lot of people a platform to right from their own comfort of their own home really just grind. And a lot of the people I was watching on YouTube, I didn't even realize that that's what they did. They started from nothing and they just worked their way through it. So I'm sitting here watching a vlog of somebody in Miami having a blast. And I'm like, wow, like this giving me a taste of what he's doing in his day. And I'm like, this is dope. But I had to realize and see that his life ain't my life. And it struck me because I never knew. I mean, of course I knew, because especially when I was younger, I used to be outside and used to be doing a lot of stuff. But that's why I said life has taken a slow curve, because people don't really realize that the pandemic, just growing up in general, becoming a grown man from a teenager type joint, just a lot of little things been going on in the last 12 years or whatever, 5 to 10 years, 8 years. And it's been a shift. A lot of us went from young age to like really like young men. So, I mean, like real men. So, like, I had to sit here and really think to myself, like, you're not them. Even if, see, because life is like contingent upon how much you know you're not like other people. And that's something I really had to grow to see. And through therapy, it's something called self differentiation. And so, really, it starts to keep your eyes on the prize of like everything, like every vlogger I watch now, I'm like, yo, I probably would have did this, then did that. Or I probably would have did. And that's what make us different. But the way I used to watch people vlogs was more through like a possessive, like everything they did, I felt like I was living through them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I don't gotta be famous because I'm watching these YouTubers and I'm good with my life. So it was like TV was still, it was still like TV. But today I watched it and it hit me as like, yo, nah, these people are different, because yes, it's like TV, but it's a crossbreed. Like YouTube is a crossbreed. It's like a bridge between a guy who really just ain't ish, and next thing you know, he has like 10K and could order unlimited Chipotle. Is just go to Miami and have like a life all of a sudden. And so I had to ask myself, like, bro, like, life is all about you being you. Like, I wouldn't even have as many subscribers I got right now if I ain't wasn't me. Like, because I post all the time. And so a lot of people probably will see my content and be like, you post a lot. I've heard that before. And people will be like, that's implying that, you post a lot. Like, you shouldn't be doing it. But secretly, I got to be me. Otherwise, right? Otherwise, what am I going to do? Sit back and wait for my channel to blow up? And that's possible. Like, you can make the right thing, but I had to really recognize today, like, yo, my life is so much mine that I can't live off of, I can't even really listen that way. Like, I could hear it, but I gotta really still, after people say stuff, I gotta really clear the air, clear the smoke. Like, a lot of my life, I would let people say stuff and it'll linger. And so I had to really ask myself, what's the difference between me blowing up and these people blowing up? And that's like, that's what it's contingent upon that. Because you're gonna post consistently if you're just like under the oath that I don't care what nobody think. Um, it's the thinking in your subconscious and thinking like, oh, what people gonna think about me? Oh, I'm not in Miami right now. And that's what I was picking up on. I'm like, bro, I wish I was doing stuff like that. And so that creates like this distance. Like, it's not even hate or nothing. It's just distance. Like, and when that distance is there, it could make you feel like I mean, it really don't make me feel anything, but it's just like when I was younger, the reason my life was a little bit more, I want to say, like, intense, or just like in the moment at least, or like just like intimate or just like special was because I was living in the truth. Like the truth is like it's like we're like fishes in a fish tank. And when you're like no fish in the fish tank is watching TV or watching nobody else live. Like they're doing them. And that's kind of like what YouTube is contingent upon. And even rapping and any other thing you want to basketball, anything you chess, anything you name, God going he typically blessing them people who focusing on themselves. And so YouTube has been like a catch 22 for me when I really think about it because like I said, like if I would have started posting pranks and stuff back when I started watching people, then it probably would have been already established on who I am and what I'm doing. But before YouTube, like I said, before that type of thing, because I do kind of appreciate it too at the same time, you had your friends on the block, like I said, the people who, and it depends, right? How much importance are you going to give people? Like, that's what I'm really here to talk about. Like, because there's a such thing that I've been watching in the Christianity. It's called your identity in Christ. And they talk about how your identity in Christ is different than your identity that you've been living in. And so that has been really amazing for me because it gave me opportunity to really differentiate and be like, well, I know I'm different than other people in general. Like we're all different. So that's easy for me to say, okay, I like peanut butter. I mean, I like jelly over peanut butter. That girl that YouTuber I was just watching was talking to, I would have cut her off and I wouldn't have dealt with her. Or if I was in Miami, I would have been doing this and he's doing that. Or, we live our life through comparison a lot, and I noticed that like, even when it comes to picking up women, yo, who got the best riz? Or, so this is like a common thing. And even with people around you that's around you right now, like that's what's giving you pain. These people want to be powerful around you. They want to be bigger, better, strong, smarter, faster. They want to be. So the competition kills because I noticed in my life I have to skim that off to win in my own personal life. Like you got a lot of competitors around you, and it's the spirit that they got, the spirit of competition, and the competition and confusion is kind of alike. They're like twins because what does someone else got to do with me being a great YouTuber? Absolutely nothing. But in the world we live in, and depending on the temperature of the fish tank you grown up in with your environment, it's people who gonna try to put pressure on you and break you for no reason. Because just like it just depends on like it's just different people out here. You got to be careful because it be people really hating on you for real, for real. But and if you ain't used to seeing hate, then the hate gonna prevail. I'm not really like I seen it growing up a little bit, but I'm not really like hands on with the hatred thing. Like I have never really faced or witnessed somebody just outright hating on you, like on some like. So hate don't, and it's not even a covert thing. A lot of the time, it come out and it spew out of people in many different ways. And these people, yeah. So I noticed that the God thing has been great because just studying God more, which I already was planning to do, but I fell off with him. Like when I moved down south, I was planning to do that, and I kind of like evaded doing it. But I feel like right now, mixing the God with the YouTube is everything right now because I just feel like my identity on YouTube, like you said, and that identity in Christ or YouTube, whatever, I feel like it's a pivotal moment for me. I feel like all humans are like a key. And if we're not made right, we won't go to the next levels in life. I honestly feel like that. And so it's a lot of people around us that are supposed to drive you crazy. They're supposed to stress you out. They're supposed to ride you and try to break you. And that's just the bottom line. Like, and only God can fix those things in therapy. Like Of course you could do therapy helps me a lot. I ain't gonna lie, because there's certain emotions. See, we could see everything physical, but emotions are invisible, and we sleep on emotions, especially as men. Emotions is something that can be, it's energy in motion. So this is why someone could annoy the shit out of you, because all they got to do is speak in a certain way, and then it's going to speak to you it's gonna all they got to do is project their voice in a way, and it can affect you based on what you're hearing, and whatever it is that you're hearing, it could kind of send a message to you. It's like downloads into your psyche, and then so um in many ways emotions are just as valuable as anything else to the body. It's just like somebody punching you. If they talking to you crazy, it's just like them punching you. A lot of people don't know that though, because it's two different things, but it's the same. It's the same. That's why music it moves people. It makes you want to go catch a body, or music can make you go want to or have sex or kiss, or it could because the energy around you is all pervasive. And so that's why I say therapy helps you to put your mind in a state where a lot of things ain't really uh it's hard for people around you to penetrate you in that way. You become harder to penetrate because something about the way your therapist talked to you, the words he chose to use, got you to look at life with a different perspective. And so because you look at life with that little shift in your perspective, it becomes like almost like whatever's trying to attack you becomes deadened. Like it starts to miss you instead of to hit you somehow. And so we could call that God, we could call that many different things, science, we could call it many different spirituality, because in many different ways, all of the things I just named have the same type of ability to help you or hurt you. Like, and so we know about weapons, we know about knives and weapons in the physical, but we don't know about them words. We don't know about them like I said, the spiritual, and we don't know about the science of it. So me spending a long time in my room, it gives me a lot of time to think and put two and two together on a lot of things. And when you're around a lot of people, you can't do that. It'll take you double or triple or 10 times more the amount of time to actually figure something out. All you'll know is you getting hit with it and it's happening quick, and you don't know how. Oh damn! I remember I'll be around people. I'll be like, damn, how bro so smooth? He know how to talk and charm, and it's like I can never like. Not saying I want to stop him from being charming, but towards me, when it's a time where you're manipulating me with it, it's like, how are you doing that? You understand? So a lot of things it make you say, how are you doing that? Until you sit down and go to God or go to something science, or like I said, spirit, and find out the sciences of life. And then you could kind of be like, okay, this person is being this way, and that's causing that, which is making me feel like this. So it's like math. 1 + 1 is 2. It's like math. This person did that, plus that equaled this. And so you got to ask yourself, why am I at the mercy of how someone else feels? Like I told you the other day, I brought up emotional dependency. Even when we go into that, that has to do with science. It has to do with a lot of different things. Therapy has to do with different things, but it's a science. So what I'm saying ultimately in this video is that in order for me to really make strides in my life, I had to kind of realize like, bro, every time you watching someone else's life, you're kind of taking a U-turn, because that's the old me. When I first started watching YouTube, I was like, what, 23, 22? Like when I started really watching the vlog joints and the pranks and stuff like that. So we don't realize we kind of get lodged into other people's like And it's different when we was younger, where we'll have like Tyra Banks as a superstar, we'll have Will Smith, because these was people who, like I said, the TV was a little different because it was like you never gonna see that person, right? That's how you felt going to school. That oh, Tyra Banks, you never gonna see that person. But when it came to the YouTube, it's like, bruh, not even in my like, cause you secretly at first I secretly felt like I'm never gonna see them too a lot, but it's like the connection is more intimate, it's more closer. You know what I'm saying? So they're talking to their followers like a cult. Like TV wasn't like that. People was just being a regular life. You just was watching from a third person standpoint. But the YouTube, like I'm talking directly to the people. So that was weird in the sense of like it's like a gift and a curse, because if someone's speaking godly stuff into you through YouTube, then it's like, okay, you're gonna really feel uplifted. If someone's speaking some like I said, even if it's a little bit, like I'm watching good people, but they in Miami, they drinking beer, they partying and doing stuff that I'm not yet doing, or maybe it's not my life to do, but I'm still growing. I know I'm old, I think, to some of y'all, but I'm still growing, because the thing about life is that you a different age than you are in your life than you are physically. Then like they say you what, like they tell you your age number, but you're a different age. And when it comes to in God, like you're a different age when it comes to having a life in general. And so I know when it comes to me having a life, my life is very still growing. Like a flower, it still is not done growing. So it's real easy for Satan to come in and try to belittle it, attack it, confuse it. Is all the things that they talk about in church. I was just literally just watching, and I'm gonna read to y'all a little bit of what I wrote down from the pastor I would listen to, and I come across a lot of new pastors on YouTube, and I love listening to them. So this was called "Find Your Identity in Christ." He says Satan can't hurt God. See, if you don't know nothing about God, see, you sit and duck. And this is what I had to realize. You really a sitting duck, because, and I'm talking to that's really what it was, because I had to ask myself, bro, like you sitting here watching this guy live his life in a vlog in Miami having fun, but your own right here, present, current living situation may have holes in it. Your ship may have holes in it right now, but you watching this guy. And in the perspective that I am going to go where he's at, which is dangerous. Like I'm living vicariously through him, as if like, oh, if I keep watching people like this, I'm gonna get there one day. But you're not really looking at every pothole that you about to drive across right in front of you. It's things that the devil may have right in what they call it, plain sight, and you can't even see it. It's just like somebody when you eat a bunch of bad food and you got a parasite in your body. No one knows that they got a parasite in their body. It's in plain sight. You should know it. It's right here in you. You should know, but you don't, because that's how slick Satan is. He'll be right in front of you. But see, the thing is, you watching all these vloggers going to Miami. You listening to Gunna. You listening to Young Thug and Gunna court case. You listening to all this stuff that you ain't even never had to go through, or even for the better or for the worse. Like you ain't never traveled. You ain't never been to Miami. You ain't never, you know what I'm saying? Your life is just now starting. And I don't care how old you are. This is a message for everybody. Your life is just now starting. If you ain't had God in your life, and ain't been really, really on some, like your spiritual life is just starting. Your age of life, like you've been on earth, like you feel me, just dwelling here, following and trying to figure things out, but you haven't been doing it with the perspective of what God told us to be doing. And so you can't even get mad if you get played, because how can you get mad if you get played if you're not using no type of set of rules and no laws to govern your life to protect you? And that's all I'm talking about today is protection, because it's a lot of people who are doing things that we can't see. So if it's a lot of people doing things we can't see, but you like a little kid in a game, I mean in a movie that's focusing and watching this little thing that they got in your hand, this thing right here. Every day. Every day. This is what I'm telling y'all. This is my life every day. Oh, they post a new vlog. Let me see who this. Let me see the. Oh, it look like they living life. Da, da, da. Like these the thoughts. I'm not speaking this. This the thought though. Oh, my boy posted. Okay, bet. Let me see. But whole time I'm not posting 10 videos a day. I'm not avidly going crazy and working on my own life. And not only am I not working on my own life, but I'm not paying attention and giving it love, tender love and care enough to where I'm protected like that. Like I said, COVID just came around, wiped a lot of people off. It's been insane killings going on in like all around the world. Just to be honest, like they had us. Oh, Chicago, bro, LA. What about Seattle? Oh, everywhere, bro. There's a big portion of people who are not on the positive spectrum of life. You know, struggling has been going on since we were kids. Like, so when you really start to look at God, you start to really recognize, like, bro, it's a science to this. Because how else can you get over things that, in other words, you shouldn't get over because it's so on you? You know what I'm saying? It's so on you. It's so prevalent. Some things are so obvious right in front of you, just messing with you, bothering you. And so, if that's the case, then only God can help that. Only God can help that. And so, because you're not perfect and you can't do everything on your own, like you could do a lot of things in the physical. Like you could tell people no. You could like you could do the little things you could do. Like as a citizen, you could do the little things you could do. Tell people no, please, thank you. Walk around. Hell, you could even fight somebody to protect yourself. But it's certain things that's so tediously trying to annoy you and irritate you that you ask God, like, why are these things just so perfectly annoying? Why are they so perfectly consistent? And so you notice that aside from doing the inner work, because that's important too, the inner work, the therapy, and then God, because even my therapist used to be a pastor. So you notice it's a starter kit. It's the inner work, the therapist. Andrew was a pastor. Some of the most outgoing people I knew in my life was their father were pastors and stuff like that. So that should let you know that there's some type of line of like um spiritual, like right? God is a spiritual thing. The thing that, in my opinion, would get you attacked in nature is your weak spirit. See, we miscount the spirit because we too busy focus on go to the gym. When I first started vlogging, that's the first thing I started doing was trying to show y'all I was working out. Not even y'all, but my other channel. I remember it was like 5 years ago. Started the channel started. It didn't last though because the spirit trumps everything. Your body will become weak and frail if your spirit ain't right. Your hair will, your teeth will, everything will crumble if the spirit ain't together because the spirit is like the gas in the car. Uh, the spirit has to be right because it's people who are counting on you not have being in no type of good spirit or just a weak spirit. Like it's people doing things to miscount you and discount you, and it's the spiritual aspect of you that's gonna outlast everything. As I look back and glance over my past, like my life, and a lot of the people who've been in and out that was narcissistic, it's this one continuous pattern that they were trying to do, which was just to control or to belittle or just to outfox me or just kind of like control me in a way. And when you really think about it as a man, you're like, how we could not be to ever let someone even try to control me, especially another man. But you can't stop what you can't see. So if someone's running game on you and they're doing things in plain sight, then you're just asleep. You're not aware that there's things on planet Earth that are more um you're not aware of the devil. And that's funny, right? For my mom to be a Christian and stuff like that. But that go to show you people don't be teaching you. Like people might try to teach you, but they're not really in it enough to really, really make it believable enough to you. Or they not really preaching it. They just, you feel me? Because when you preaching it, then it become easier for your kids to see it. So me, I've been led here somehow, through maybe the bad situations in my life. I've been led here to see like that's your last hope a lot of the time because, like I said, once you've been living in this place of not depending on God for so long, you kind of start to recognize like, bro, something was protecting me, and now something ain't because things are getting realer and harder and just that's where you see people go through stuff. Like they'll go through like a car accident, or I've been in a car accident actually. You'll see certain things. You'll see certain things, but you're protected. How? How? Well, I mean, it was a big ass truck too. I feel like. No, it wasn't. It was like it was. It could have been a truck. I think I hit someone's car into a truck to the side. It was some bull, and I had a little kid run up to me and was like, the little kid ran up to me and was like, "Are you okay?" I was perfectly fine, actually. But to have a kid come up to you like that, it was like some spiritual stuff. And the kid was so innocent and he just cared about another human life. Simply. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, yeah, I'm good, but yeah, I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, I'm straight. But wow, it could have been horrendous. And crashed into somebody else and messed their whole car up. And then the cops came, and the cop, I promise y'all, the cop was so nice to me. Like the cop was so like letting me off the hook so much. Every time I promise y'all, because it happened again. Like, yo, I'm thinking to myself, it did happen again. Like in the last, I had a truck like a year ago, and I like was at a light, and there was a car in front of me. And then I hit the car in front of me, and a white guy hopped out, and then I was like, I just like, yo, bro, I ain't about to run nothing, da da da. And I was, he even did it. He let me off the hook. Like he was super cool about it. Like every time I got into some type of car crash, because that cop, that first time, that cop was really like, I remember him looking at me and just talking to me. And I felt like his energy was like, bro, I can't even put this guy in no trouble. Like, I can't even do it. Like, because they could tell you're not a bad guy. You just in a situation that's just unfortunate right now. Like, it seemed like that. Like, they know you young. You just trying to get yourself together. You lost out here for real. For real. You just trying to figure things out. But now that I'm looking back, like I said, I'm recognizing that I tried to live life the whole time without God. And every time I even went towards church or tried to try this stuff, right, I get this feeling like, nah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. It ain't what you think it is. I remember I was riding to church one day with my ex girlfriend and my mom, and I was in the back seat, and I just started feeling weird, extremely weird, extremely weird. Just like I didn't know what it was. I just started feeling extremely weird. Um, when I was down south last year, my cousin and my roommate was about to get ready to, because they heard me talking about church, and they was like, "Yo, we about to go to church." Da 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 da. And I think I just got home from work, and I was like, something inside of me just was like, I ain't feeling it. And I don't think that was bad, because you don't always got to be feeling it, quote unquote. But I think that it was bad in the sense of like me not, like, there's not no submission in me for God. Like that had recently, I feel like it's starting to come into tuition. Because even me looking at the little things now, like I'm way more particular with, when I look into stuff, I look into it. So now, like me even looking at them talk about, um, they said your identity in Christ. That was interesting to me, because I'm like, okay, so that means that there's a distinction, and I've been living over here somewhere, because I know, if anybody knows, right, that if I was living in Christ, maybe I would be a little bit more around a certain group of people. Maybe I'll be a little bit more different, and it's like a second chance to live the first time. I know my life has swayed away from a certain particular emotionality and state of affairs, but I also been moving from house to house. So my mom always moving from house to house, so that kind of changed my fish tank all the time. My fish, the water get dirtier sometimes. Sometimes it get a little cleaner. But no matter where you are, if if you're not cleansing your own tank with God, it really don't matter where you are, because the devil is going to try to attack you anyway. And so miscounting God is probably the most ignorant thing you could probably do, because you see it all the time. People finally get rich and then they still get taken out. This happened and then that happened. You see these little things happen. And so, like I said, I was just trying to live like a civilian all them years. I was just, anything I was trying to do, bro, I was just trying to order pizza, order Chinese food, have chill with girls. I was trying to live just a basic life the whole time. But secretly, when I really come down to this feeling I'm feeling right now, I really feel like, bro, I would rather not live a basic life, maybe a little bit higher than basic. But I feel right now the devil's trying even hard, like he's trying harder, like now, in a way that I've never seen before too. So it's weird, but it's beautiful too. Like even when I got in that car crash, it was weird, but it was a new experience. Like I'm looking, because I felt like I was safe. I knew in my head, in my psychological head, man, it could end bad. But in my being, I just felt like, nah, that ain't you. You good. And as the thing was crashing into this car, which was crashing into something else, well, it was getting crazy. I still felt calm in the whole thing. And I don't know if it's because I tell myself to feel calm in them situations, or just because it's like, no, you really are safe type shit. But I just feel like it's funny, man. Like life is funny. Meaning there be things in plain sight you can't see a lot of the time, because how you gonna see something that you not trained to look at? And if you train to, like I said, the Bible is like training. God and all that. Just because, see, this is why I say we discount it, because this just because it's in the spiritual world, or it's a crossbreed between the two worlds. That's why I love science. I feel like science. I remember I used to go home from school every day and see rocks on the ground, and it'd be the coolest thing. Like, why is there rocks on the ground? What is this? I would ask what is this? And detail I'm giving y'all right there just showed y'all like the fact that life can make me question it. Or even sex. What is that? You know what I'm saying? Even when we think about sex, what is that? Why is that? Why we have to do that anyway? Why? I'm not saying it because I like it, but why does it even feel good? What, like, why? What is water? Why do we need it? Why? Why? And so these are things that can only be explained through a book, because if it was explained from person to person, it'll be just as believable, but it'll still be like, nah, I need to know for my own self. So the way God'll do things, bro, God'll do things, I feel like, through experience. That's why I said getting in a car crash. That's why I said certain people have to go through bad stuff, because like those moments, bro, my mom wasn't there. Nobody couldn't tell me nothing. And I still never went to them for reassurance about nothing. It's stuff that I seen. And so that stuff I seen, it's stuff that's spiritual, bro. Because it's a when you go through stuff and no one's looking, it's spiritual. Because if no one looking, then even like I said, even if you told them, they wouldn't really hear you. Like that's why documentaries or books or stuff like that is deeper, because when people are alone, they're really taking it in. But when it's when it's spoken in like in a way where it's like you want people to hear it, it seems like they don't hear it. That's why I be trying to explain to my mom certain stuff, she just can't hear it. Even the singer SZA parents was like, when we finally seen her performing, we seen her from a different angle. We finally seen her from like a fan perspective than her seeing our daughter. That's kind of what it's a spiritual, it's a realization, like she really isn't our daughter no more. She's a grown person. And so I feel like God, living in God and finding your life in God is that same thing. Because it's gonna tweak the things that you can't tweak on your own. You can't tell your parents to stop looking at you as a kid. Only God could do something like that. Because how are you going to do that? Even if, I mean, of course you can get money, but a lot of people get money. And like my mom, she got money that her parents ain't forcing, it ain't making her get. But she can't stop them from looking at her or treating her or telling her. She can't cut that. Now, through therapy, you can. But that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Therapy and religion to me is kind of one, and it's two peas in a pod, because they both have to do with science. They both have to do with how chemistry is. You can only change the chemistry through, in my opinion, therapy or church. Because life is science, it's chemistry. We are chemistry. It's nothing under the sun that's being done to me right now that ain't being done, that haven't been going on for years. As far as narcissism, abuse, and just attitude, people have attitudes, people irritate your soul, your spirit. So it's okay that people do it. It's okay that people do it. It's not okay that I don't figure out how to stop it. And that's one thing my older cousin used to say when we used to play the game. I used to be like, yo, bro, he cheating, bro. He just keep giving the ball to LeBron. No, I was giving the ball just to LeBron and scoring over and over again. And it's basically a cheat code, right? It's a cheat code within the game. So it's really not a cheat code, because technically in real life they might do something like that and keep giving the ball to LeBron and he cooking you. But in the game, you got that little crybaby inside you that say, bro, stop cheating, bro. Get a ball to somebody else, bro, because you know you about to lose. But my cousin turned around and he said, when my friend started getting mad, like, bro, he's scrubbing. He keep giving the ball. My cousin turned around and said, so stop it. Stop him. So my cousin was like a referee to show you that life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. People gonna cheat. They gonna scrub. They gonna keep doing what works. And so all your own, and man, when it comes to like life and adulthood or manhood or whatever, your last hope is for you to just figure out what works and just do it. Other than that, bro, it's gonna scrape you. This is what we used to say when we beating somebody and yo, I'm about to scrape you, bro. I'm about to scrape this. Like, yeah, you about to hurt them in the game, but in real life though, it's certain things that are ongoing pain, agony, putting you through torture. And so these even ways of torturing people in life has been going on. It's traditional. It's nothing new under the sun. It's all been going on. So that's why the Bible is like they say the oldest book, one of the oldest books or whatever. Living through those keys, if you're really doing what they telling you to do, these preachers and stuff like that, and you still find that things are persistent in your life, then that's different. But if you know you ain't living through God and you just out here just trying to wing it and you trying to do it on your own in the physical world, then you putting, in my opinion, you putting too much importance on the physical and you're not putting no importance on the spiritual. And so that's kind of disproportionate because you discounting at what percentage do I need to have my spirituality up, because I'm only putting all my points in this physical world. Views, likes, clicks, my money. Like I said, watching other people have what you don't got. It's like the same way that's amazing you is the same way you could turn around and say, bruh, I don't need none of that. And I'm about to post. I'm wearing the same hoodie. Y'all see this hoodie every other video. Why? Because, bro, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't really live your life like that. That's not godly. That's not godly, bro. That's not godly, bro. They say it's demonic to try to figure people out. You don't know what people thinking. You don't know what they thinking. Admit it. Admit that. You think you know because it's irritating you. But you setting yourself up because you too invested. You trying to figure them out. You invested. But really, that's why you gotta let go and put it all on God, because guess what? That's the loophole in the game of life. You trying to do it yourself. You don't got the capacity. This world is too sophisticated. The world is too sophisticated. If you think that you could just do things by yourself, then that's just kind of crazy, bro. But one thing I want to say before I end this video is that don't play both sides. That's what I've been doing. Like I said, so that's why it's so easy for me to try to be around with the God stuff and then realize, like, bro, this ain't fitting for me. I'll fall out of it quick, because you either all in or you not. That's kind of how life is teaching me. Like, it's like a nigga. Excuse me. It's like a guy who want to go to the army, but he don't want to put on the pads. He don't want to put on the shoulder pads. He don't want to put on the uniform. He don't want to wake up early. And so in many ways, you could say whatever you want to say.